Welcome back to Stokehaven. Over the last two videos, we built Alex and Sam's household profile. In this one, we turn it into a scenario and run our first projection. A quick reminder from the previous video, the household profile holds the facts: who you are, what you earn, what you saved. The scenario holds the assumptions: when you retire, what you spend, where you plan to live. We have the facts, now we need to first set the assumptions. If you're following the onboarding steps, you'll see a button to create your first scenario. Click on the Start from the dashboard, and you should see it at the upper left-hand corner. Press that button to see what I'm seeing right now. On the projection page, everything to do with scenario lives behind the scenario menu. Sync pulls in numbers from your profile or financial ledger. We'll go over that in a future video, but in short, the financial ledger is there to store running updates to your household income, balances, and spending, so that you can use real-world numbers in your projections. The copy duplicates a scenario. New allows you to create a scenario using your household profile data as your baseline, but it's primarily an empty scenario form, which you'll manually fill out. And describe does exactly the same thing as new, except you narrate your scenario in plain English, allowing AI to translate and parse this information to help you fill out the form. You can then review the form yourself before running the projection. We're going to start by describing Alex and Sam's scenario in plain English. Write it the way that you would explain to a colleague. There's a 10,000 character ceiling, which is far more than anyone needs. This box tells you something honestly, and I want to be just as direct about it. What you type into this section is sent to Anthropic's API to be interpreted into scenario values. It's not used to train language models, and there's no reason to put in any sort of identifying information about yourself, such as account numbers. The system will never ask for that either. I already have Alex and Sam scenarios written out, which I'll copy and paste into this section and hit interpret my description. And this is the part that matters. Nothing has been saved yet. This is a readback of what Anthropic's language model understood and translated as suggested input for your form. It is there for your review before anything is committed anywhere. Let's go ahead and first name this as baseline. Read through this section, which is essentially the information that it pulled from your profile. Underneath that, it'll start going through what your description has changed, and change is the operative word. I said plenty in that paragraph that match what was already in Alex and Sam's profile. None of it is listed here because none of it moved. There are 4 columns in this section: the field, the value it landed on, what I said in my own words, and what it replaced. The third column is the whole design. You're never asked to trust an interpretation you can't trace. Every value points at the sentence it came from. Look at the spending rows. The label says per year and the value is annual, but I wrote it monthly. It did the conversion and it flagged that it made an inference. That's the infer badge. The form will still show it back to you in a monthly format. The next sections include interpretations where the describe feature is asking for your closer review. Read through each one and make adjustments where available. Otherwise, accept and open in form and see the unresolved items surface again as additional guidance for filling out the form. Accepting created the scenario. You can see the scenario name baseline up at the upper left-hand corner, and it dropped us into the form with the sections that it touched already open. And it carried the open questions with it. Strip includes everything from the review screen that I did not deal with yet. Because the honest failure of a tool like this is not getting something wrong. It's telling you 5 things and then throwing the list away the moment you click accept, leaving you to memorize them in your head, while you scroll through a large form. Each of the unresolved items are shown as separate line items within the top strip. Click on the Take Me There button to navigate to the associated sections and ensure the information that you see on the form is correct and make changes as necessary. My recommendation is to review each section before dismissing each review item. Pay special attention to the spending section. The success of a projection doesn't just rely on how much income you can generate, but just as importantly, how much you plan to spend. As mentioned in the narrative, Alex and Sam will spend $6,000 in fixed and $2,500 in discretionary every month. Each category carries its own inflation rate, and that's the reason they're split apart. Medical typically runs hotter than general inflation. Travel also behaves differently again, and for Alex and Sam's baseline spending, we'll leave it this way for now. Stokhaven provides each category a slider bar so that you can make your own inflation adjustments. After addressing each finding from the parsing of the described narrative, go back to the top of the form and perform a final review. There are two noteworthy features to point out here. As mentioned before, Stokhaven was built with transparency in mind. Any assumption that this projection uses will be listed in the Assumptions in this projection section. Expand this section to review these assumptions. And two, by collapsing the section headers using the collapse all, you can quickly see the summary of the scenario's inputs. My recommendation is to open up each section at least the first time around and familiarize yourself with the form. Go through at least one time to make sure that the information that's been supplied is correct. And as you can see, the scenarios page allows you to override even your profile data, your household profile data, for each scenario. And here's one thing a description will never set for you. The withdrawal priority sets the order in which accounts get drawn from when you need to spend down your portfolio. Pre-tax, brokerage, Roth, cash. That's the conventional order and it's the default, and it's one of the most consequential levers in your model. So it stays a decision that you make on purpose. You can reorder the priority the way that you see fit for each scenario, and it will change your projection materially. We went through a lot of sections, and some of these sections will warrant its own video. Medicare Part B, we already set to 65 for both of them, which is right. But IRMA will get its own video, and same thing with spending events, Roth conversions, and the Monte Carlo simulation. Make sure you hit save when you're ready. And then this is the projection button. We'll dedicate a video of its own to go over the projection results. But just quickly, there are 4 numbers across the top. Portfolio, this is your balance at 90, which is at the far left end. The age that the portfolio is last solvent, which is 85 for this scenario. Lifetime tax, federal and state, cumulative, and first stress age, the first year that the plan actually strains. Fully funded means it never does, and that is one full scenario built from one paragraph of plain English to some manual tweaks. If you rather do it by hand or tweak the current one that you're currently looking at, you can use the new feature or the copy this scenario and make additional tweaks and save it as a new scenario. In the next video, we'll read through the output of this scenario, the charts, the year by year table, and what each of these numbers are telling you. See you there.